Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of Driftless Knitting. My name is Jennifer, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Driftless Knitter, and the podcast has a Ravelry group now called Driftless Knitting, and you can find that just by searching Driftless Knitting in the group tab up on the top of your Ravelry page. So we have a few members in the group now, which I'm so excited about. And hopefully we can get a little bit more chatter going. I have to admit I'm not the best Ravelry user. I don't know exactly what the term for that would be, but I sometimes forget to check the groups I belong to or the threads I've participated in. And it always kind of makes me wonder if Ravelry had a little notifications thing like Facebook does, if I would be on there a little more, just because it does take time to check all the groups, and you never know if someone's actually answered your post or anything like that. So I'm not the best on Ravelry, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to be better. So come join the group and chat a little bit. I'll have a new thread up for this episode. I have a thread up for episode 5 and a thread up for just some general chatter where you can introduce yourself, and if you have any questions for me or about my projects or something like that, you can ask me there. And I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Instagram quite a bit. I love Instagram, so come check me out and see my photos, and you can get a bit more of a behind-the-scenes look into my everyday life, my knitting life. I have pictures on there of family and my boyfriend, and I know I talk about them quite a bit, so you can go on there and see pictures of that. I also wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been subscribing. I think I haven't checked in the last few days, but I was a little over 30 subscribers, which doesn't seem like a whole lot compared to some of the podcasters that I watch. They have like several thousand subscribers, but to me, I just think it's wonderful that people want to come back and watch my videos and want to hear what I have to say. And I'm almost getting a little bit teary-eyed a little bit, just because I feel like that is the ultimate way to support a podcaster, is putting your name down that you want to be notified as soon as something new comes out, that you're interested enough to have them kind of on the top of your priority list. So thank you so much. And if you'd like to subscribe, there's a little button, little red button, I think on the bottom under the video, that says subscribe on it, and you can press that, and then you'll get an email when I post a new video. So thank you to everyone who's done that. And welcome if this is your first time seeing my podcast. I'm really, really glad that you found me and that you are watching now. So hopefully you like what you see and you come back for more. So my weekend, I had a busy weekend. I didn't get much knitting done, unfortunately, but we were kind of all over the place this weekend. Seaver and I were. We went down to his family's farm on Friday night, and we got a chance to see his family a little bit. His brother was home for the weekend. He goes to school in Iowa City to get he's getting his master's in engineering. So Trevor was home. Trevor is his brother. And we got a chance to spend some good quality time there. Saturday morning, though, we had to leave somewhat early. We did get a chance to be outside a little bit in the morning and walk around the woods a bit. It was such a nice day on Saturday. Such a nice day. It's chilly, of course, and it was windy, but the sun was shining, and we got a chance to go out, and Seaver is in the throes of buck fever right now because it is hunting season in this area, bow season. He is a hunter, and he just would live in the woods. He would live in a tree if you let him. If he had no other responsibilities, he would be out in the woods constantly. So we went out into the woods and walked around, and he was looking for some deer sign, and I just kind of followed along behind him, trying not to get too tangled up in thorns, which I did end up getting tangled up in thorns, but that's a whole other story. So we got a chance to be outside a little bit on Saturday, and then we had to drive to Illinois, which is where I'm originally from. We drove to Illinois to go to my cousin's wedding. She got married on Saturday. Congrats, Hallisey and Aaron, her husband Aaron. And yeah, so that was fun. I got to see my sister and my new nephew, who just turned 3 months old. He's the cutest thing in the entire world. I might be a little biased, but my nephew is probably the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I got a chance to spend some time with him and with my sister, Jill, who is my best friend and the other half of my heart. So that was really nice too. Hi, Jill. I know you watch this, so I thought I'd give you a little shout out. And yeah, and the rest of my family, my mom and my stepdad, and all of my stepdad's family, which was very nice to see all them. I only get a chance to spend a lot of quality time with them on holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, obviously bigger holidays where we all get together. So it was really nice to have another excuse to be together and chat and catch up. So that was really fun. And then on Sunday morning, we drove back up to the farm after having breakfast and chatting with my mom and my stepdad a little bit. We went back up to the farm, and Seaver's grandparents and his aunt were there, and we had some lovely peach pie with them. And then Seaver and Trevor went out to set up a deer stand. I stayed back and chatted with his grandma and his mother, Julie. Hi, both of you. I think you both watched this too, so hello. And it was lovely spending time with them. Lately, since Seaver's been so busy with school, we haven't had as much of a chance to go down to the farm as we usually do, so it was just really nice to have a good chunk of quality time there. So then we drove back up to La Crescent last night, and here we are. It's Monday, my day off. Although technically I had the weekend off, which doesn't happen very often, so I've had quite the busy few days, and now I'm just kind of happy to be back in the general swing of my routine. Mondays podcasting here and talking with you. I'm obviously not in the shop today. I am back in my craft room, my guest bedroom in my apartment, and I thought I would do a little bit of a different setup. As you can see, I'm closer to my desk and my yarn books. I just like the light better on this side of the room. On the other side where I usually podcast, the windows, the light kind of slants in this way. I thought that would be better for everybody. So yeah, so I hope everyone had a great weekend. Sorry, I'm just looking down at my show notes here. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about with my weekend was, speaking of hunting, if you go on my Instagram today, you'll see a picture of me knitting in a tree stand. And yet last night, about 5 o'clock, Seaver just really wanted to get up in one of his tree stands and just sit for a little bit and kind of watch everything around us, and convinced me that I should join him, which I'm happy to do most of the time. I kind of go along, and I actually really enjoy doing a lot of the things that he likes to do. But climbing up in a tree stand was a bit of a leap for me. I am deathly scared of heights. I have a bit of a phobia, and I had a mild panic attack on the way up the ladder, but forced my feet to keep going, made it up to the top, and then sat clutching Seaver for a good few minutes because I was a little freaked out. But I got to knit. That's the great thing about sitting quietly up in a tree stand in the middle of the woods, is that it is peaceful, it is beautiful, and there's really nothing you can do besides sit and knit. You can't really talk because you don't want to scare anything away. You're looking out at beautiful nature, and in my case, I knit. So for those of you who follow my Instagram, that is the story behind that picture, was me getting over my fear of heights, jumping over that hurdle, climbing up there, and then getting to knit a little bit as a reward. So it was a little more, there's a little more behind that picture than just me, sitting in a tree. So I thought I would explain that a little bit more. But yeah, so it turned into a fun experience. The beginning of it was kind of scary, but it's okay. We got to conquer our fears, right? That's the first step. So maybe next time I climb up into a tree stand, it won't be so bad. All right, so enough about me, enough about my weekend. I think we should get on to the knitting. So I have a couple works in progress to show you. I thought this week that I would show you my sock because I haven't in a few weeks. I don't think I've showed you this project since the first episode, the very first episode. And I think I only had a bit of the foot done at that point. And since then, I've just been working, rows here and there, nothing too significant. But this weekend, this was my go-to knitting project in the few moments that I did have to knit. So when I was sitting with Julie, and that's Seaver's mom, and with Seaver's grandma, Peggy, we sat and chatted, and I knit on my sock. And then up in the tree stand, I knit on my sock. And it's come along. I didn't do this whole heel and everything this weekend. This has been in the works when I'm watching TV or, like I said, we're traveling or something like that. So I increased for my heel gusset. I turned my heel, and I am knitting up the leg now. You can see that. I'm just doing a broken 1x1 rib on the front part of the foot, and the leg all the way around is that broken rib. And the heel, the back of the heel, and the foot part is the bottom of the foot, I should say, is just a stockinette stitch. And this is a Regia yarn. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's one of the, my needles and my yarn's all twisted. It's a skein of yarn that lets you know when you have finished with the first sock, and then you start the second one so that it matches completely, so that both socks match completely. So you can see this big yellow piece in there, and that is my indicator to when I finish my first sock and when I should start my next one. So I'll cut that out and start my next one. And I feel like this sock is going to be taller in the leg than most of my socks are. I tend to knit socks just above my ankle. I don't like anything too high. I end up rolling the sock down anyway. So I'm a little curious as to how I'll like the larger leg. I could stop now, technically. I could just do like a ribbing for the cuff. I usually do about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches of a ribbing at the top, and then be done with it. But I don't know, I kind of just want to use up the yarn, and I think I'll wear them. I think if I have higher shoes, if I want to wear them over some leggings or something like that with some boots, I'll like the higher socks. So we'll see. But I enjoy knitting socks. I forgot how much I enjoyed knitting socks, and I've been having a bit of sock fever. I want to cast on more socks. I just actually asked Seaver last night if I knit him a pair of socks. I've knit him one pair of socks before, and I asked him if I knit him another one, if he would wear it, and he said yes right away. So I think I might plan on some of those. Maybe as a Christmas present, maybe just as just because I love you type of present, but who knows. So that was my first work in progress, and I'm knitting those on my Addi Turbo Rockets, size 1, and they are my favorite ever needles for Magic Loop. That's how I knit my socks, is Magic Loop. Okay, so my second work in progress, second and last work in progress. This is the Building Blocks KAL from Stephen West, and I would warn you, if you don't want spoilers, you should look away, blah, 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 all that good stuff. However, I am so far behind that I think everyone else who is watching this, unless you've never heard of the Stephen West Building Blocks, KAL, you're all probably much, much, much farther than I am. So I pretty much just started the week 2 clue. I talked about it in the last episode that I was trying to decide between just doing the garter portion. He had 2 options, a garter stitch portion or a brioche stitch portion. And I was saying how I had never done brioche. I was a little scared of it, but all of my friends were just telling me to go for it. So much fun. You'll love it. So I did. I went for the brioche. I'm doing brioche, guys. I'm doing brioche. As my friend Jamie would say, brioche is my friend. So, but I have like 8 rows done in the brioche section. And clue 3 already came out. Week 3 already came out. And I'm nowhere near even finishing clue 2. So, don't worry. This is not going to be a spoiler for you. So here we go. There it is. It kind of reminds me of like bat wings, doesn't it? I don't know. I like it though. I think the shaping is really cool. So this is, up to the green part is from week 1, the 4 sections of week 1. And then this part, this little itty bitty part right there, that is clue 2. And I don't know if you can see that. That is my brioche. Aren't you proud of me? So I am brioching these little sections right here. I can't tell if this is even in the shot because I'm blocking my face, but anyway. So in this shawl, we have these little sections divided out in 19 stitches and 14 stitches. So the 14 stitches are just garter stitch, or it's almost like a reverse garter, or reverse stockinette. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, no, I guess that'd be considered garter. It's really confusing with brioche because you knit 1 row, so you knit the right side, then you slide all your stitches back to the other needle and you knit the right side again because you have 2 strands going at the same time. So I always get confused because I'm doing 2 purl rows and then I do 2 knit rows, which normally would be like reverse stockinette, pieces of reverse stockinette back and forth. But I guess it's just garter stitch because I'm knitting. Yeah, it's just garter stitch. So I'm struggling, guys. I'm struggling. Just kidding. I'm good. So there's my brioche. The only thing I don't like about it is, okay, you can see right there, we have to do increases and decreases in this shawl, and I feel like mine, there's a lot of space in between these stitches, and I don't know. I don't know if that's normal. Those of you who have done brioche before, please set my mind at ease because I think it looks sloppy. But I'm not one to hate something or get bothered by something so much that I will just frog it all and rip it all out. So I'm just going to kind of live with it. And in the long run, I know that this shawl is going to be so big. It's going to be so there's so much interest in this shawl that I know it won't matter and you won't be able to see it. But that's the only thing right now that I'm not crazy about in this shawl. But otherwise, I really, really like it. So my yarns, I realized last week I did not say anything about my yarns again that I'm using. And I did in the first, what was that, episode 3? Episode 2? I can't remember when I started this. But I went through all of my choices of yarn that I was going to use. And I never talked about it again. So the 2 I'm using right now for the brioche, they are a sock yarn from Madeline Tosh, the gray, that's the gray, is Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the Turn colorway. And then the pink was actually a custom dyed skein of yarn for me from my good friend Lisa at Three Sisters Fiber Company. Thanks, Lisa. Because I was complaining about not finding the right shade of pink, and she probably got tired of hearing me complain. So she graciously decided or offered to dye me something for it. So, and then the green down there, that is not Smooshy with Cashmere, from the same company, that's Jilly with Cashmere. And then, oh, that's Lisa's yarn right there. It's so gorgeous. And then the other variegated pinkish yarn with the gray, that is a Cyborg's Craft Room yarn in the, I think it's called Bubble Bubble Toil and Trouble. And you can see it. Sorry, I'm showing this to you because you can see it again at the very bottom. That's the first yarn that I used for that I-cord. So, yeah, otherwise, I'm really liking the way it comes out. Like all the colors together that it's coming out. I'm just not a fan of my increases and decreases in my brioche section. So I have to do, I don't know how many more rows of brioche, and then another just knitted section in the gray yarn. I think in the gray yarn. One of them, I'll look at the pattern before I do it, obviously. Can't remember, but, and then I will be on to week 3. And then I have to do week 3 because week 4 clue comes out on Friday. And I don't want to be too far behind. So hopefully I'll at least start clue 3 before Friday comes around. That's my goal. That's my goal. We'll see if I get to it, but alright, so I have some exciting news. I have a finished product. Yay! Or finished object. I guess it's an FO, right? Finished object? Okay. Mine will be like FPs. No one will know what I'm talking about. So, as you all know, I was doing the North Remembers cowl from Bumblebee Acres Farm. This was their October knit along, and it was designed by Sam of Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm. Yes, is what their whole name is. You can find them on Instagram. They have amazing yarn. I own, I think, 2 of their skeins of yarn, and I want to own about 20 more that I have to stop myself from buying. And they were doing this knit along for October. It's called the North Remembers. I think that's a Game of Thrones reference. Hopefully, I'll feel kind of silly if it's not. But here it is, guys. Ah! Okay, so last week I was talking about how much I had gotten done. And I was so excited. I had gotten so much progress on this done. And that didn't stop. In between doing my knit along, when I just wanted to see progress being made on a project, I got this out. And I cabled my little heart out. And I finished it, I think, on Tuesday of last week. Blocked it, and then seamed it together Wednesday or Thursday. And this, I actually wet blocked this because I was nervous that I wasn't going to have enough length so that when I seamed it together, I was kind of afraid it wasn't going to go over my head or that it would be like this, you know, really tight turtleneck-y type looking cowl. And I didn't want that. So I did stretch it a bit, and I think I may have overblocked it slightly. My cables look a little flat, as you can see there. But I think it'll poof out again. This is a BFL, 100% BFL yarn that I spun, my hand spun yarn. And I like it. What's the best angle? Ooh, that is a very good angle. The sun is hitting that perfectly. So I love this. I've already worn it. It's warm, it's squishy, it's blue and brown and tan, and those are my favorite colors. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm a happy girl. I still have to take a picture of this and put it up on the their Ravelry group thread for the knit along. And I'll probably do that sometime, maybe today or tomorrow, because I have time on my days off. So, yay. Super exciting. So, that one is finished. One knit along done. One to go. Yay. Okay, and then the other one I wanted to show you, again, this I knit about a month ago, maybe more, but I never got a chance to show you. This is Seaver's hat. I talked to you about this hat last week. This is my new pattern design that I have out, and this is called Autumn Spice. Oops. There we go. That's a good angle right there. Autumn Spice, and this is knit out of Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Marte, I think. It's on the pattern. And this is the first version of this hat that I knit. And it pretty much ultimately became the version of the hat. This was out of yarn that was in my stash. And yeah, Seaver claimed this one right away. He tried it on and decided that it was his. So I'm going to honor that decision. But yeah, I just wanted to show that to you again. This pattern is now available on Ravelry. And it is, I believe, a $5 pattern. I put it on there as. And yeah, I would love it if you went and checked it out. And maybe if there's a special someone in your life who needs a hat, this is a great, versatile, gender-neutral hat. And it's completely reversible too. There's the inside. That rib just looks a little bit different when you turn it inside out. And then the rib on there is just this beautiful, broken, seated rib that I love. So since I was home, since I was here, and last time I was at the shop and didn't have this on hand, I just thought I'd show this one off. I have it on my of course it's on my Ravelry page, on my Instagram page too, and you can see a couple pictures of the handsome Seaver wearing and modeling this hat. I think he's handsome, but that's just me. So, yeah, so that is another, oh, excuse me, I dropped my show notes. Another finished object that I never got a chance to show you before. And I thought I would show that off a little bit. So my next little segment is, I'm going to be calling this next segment New Friends. And I'm calling this New Friends because it's like it's going to be my stash enhancement when I get off this yarn diet. It's going to be my stash enhancement kind of segment. And a friend of the shop and a friend of mine named Patty Brown. Hi, Patty, if you're watching right now. Not sure if you watch this, but she calls yarn friends. And she always kind of joked with us at the shop. We would be talking about Malabrigo and Madeline Tosh and, you know, Regia and Rowan and all these yarns. And she wasn't as familiar with the brand names of the yarns. And so she would be like, you know, it's like you guys are talking about friends that I don't know. I don't know these friends. Who are these friends of yours? And so now we've kind of made that the joke is that our yarn friends. These are our yarn friends. Oh, this is my friend Mrs. Crosby. This is my friend Lorna's Laces. This is, you know, that sort of thing. So this is going to be my new friends segment. And I will be showing new yarn, new books, new tools, accessories, things like that. And I do have a couple exciting new little accessories that I got in the mail. Can you tell I'm like ecstatic about this? So last week I shared with you my obsession with little mini fake food items. I have my little pancake progress keeper on my knit along, which I'm not sure if you saw that. It's on the front of that. And I was telling you about a couple of the people that I follow on Instagram who do these little polymer clay fake food pieces, and they turn them into stitch markers, they turn them into progress keepers, zipper pulls, whatever they want. And one of the girls that I follow is the Gnome Knitter, and I believe her name is Joanna, and you spell gnome N-O-M-E like Nome, Alaska. And I have been just sort of stalking her Etsy shop and her website and her Instagram for I don't know how long now, at least a year. And I really, 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 really wanted to buy something from her. Then she had a deal on her Instagram. If you signed up for her newsletter, you got 15% off of an order. And I'm not on her newsletter. I don't know why I wasn't on her newsletter. I am now, but I saw that and it was a no-brainer. I signed up pretty much that second. I got my little code, my little 15% off code, went to her Etsy, or her, I don't know if it's an Etsy actually. She has both. She has an Etsy and a actual website. And I placed an order and it just came in. So since I got 15% off, I wasn't just going to buy one thing. I bought two things. So I want to show you how they came packaged up. And then maybe I'll take them out and show you. They are so cute. So this is the Gnome Knitter. And they're in this little package with her name on there. This is great. So I have been wanting I don't know if I can get them off there, but I'll show them to you kind of separately. This is the Honeycomb Progress Keeper. And as you guys might know, I mentioned this in an earlier podcast episode, that Seaver and I raised bees. We had a beehive on his farm, and we collected honey in June. We harvested honey. We got a ton of honey, and it was kind of one of our things when we first started dating. That was one of the things that we really enjoyed to do together, was go check on the bees, read up about them, study, kind of how to take care of them, what to do in certain situations. And yeah, so it was special to me. And I wanted this little honeycomb stitch marker or progress keeper because I felt a connection to honeybees and to that whole world of honey production and everything. And actually, it's a little bit sad now because a couple weeks ago, our hive up and left. They didn't die. They were probably very healthy and very strong, and that was probably the issue because they ran out of room, we think. They used up all the room in the hive. They couldn't expand anymore, and they took everything and left. Our hive was completely empty of all honey, all pollen, all brood, so the little larvae guys that will turn into bees, they were all gone. Seaver said it was like a ghost town. No buzzing. He said it was almost eerie. Usually you would walk up to the hive, you could see a few buzzing in and out, but then just the sound of pretty much hundreds of thousands of bees buzzing inside of that hive. And this day when he walked up to the hive, there was nothing. And I wasn't there with him, but he called me on his way home because he was coming back to La Crescent that night and kind of broke the news to me. And while it's better than finding the hive wiped out and the bee carcasses in there. Sorry, this is getting graphic. It's still sad because we took care of them. We thought about them, we worried about them, we fed them, it almost felt like we were providing for them and then they provided for us, giving us all that honey. And we were just so excited to have this thriving, healthy, strong hive where a lot of hives today are struggling. They don't survive the winter. They're not finding adequate food. And we had this plethora of organic material that they could eat off of, and I just hope and pray that they found a spot to set up a new colony, a new hive, and that they can maybe get established before winter. but I don't know if they can. There isn't much out there right now for them to find and produce honey and pollen from, so we'll see. But hopefully next year we might be able to get another hive if we have the time to take care of it properly. But it's close to my heart. Honeybees are still close to my heart, and I will still support, and hopefully soon we'll get a new hive. So I'm still really, really glad that I got the little honeycomb stitch marker. And I'm sorry about the tangent about bees, but I've been thinking about that, so thought I would break that news. So sad. Anyway, my second stitch marker, I should call them progress keepers because that's what I'll use them for, but this is a little scone. It's gonna keep turning there on that. Look at that. Look at the detail. I mean, seriously, that looks like a little tiny baked scone. And the little frosting on there, oh my gosh. With the glaze, little pumpkin glaze. I'm just pretty much obsessed. I love it. So that one was just cute. This is one of her seasonal stitch markers. It's a pumpkin spice scone. And she has a couple other more fall-y, Halloween-y type stitch markers up on her website. I think there might be a pumpkin spice latte, possibly. I can't remember. But a couple that are just adorably cute, and I had to get that one too. And she included a little package of stitch markers, and it's really, really sunny, so you can't necessarily see the words written on there, I don't think. But it says, especially for you. And these little French clip stitch markers are great. I have a bunch of them in my bag, but you can always use more. So that was a fun little gift in there. So those were my new friends that I got this week. I'm so excited for that. So I'm just going to grab some of my tea. I'm using my knit mug from my Tante Margie. And actually, yeah, I'm drinking tea today, not coffee. This is echinacea tea. And I just felt like I needed something hot and spicy. I really like echinacea. I know a lot of people don't. I do. And there's been a lot of viruses and illnesses kind of going around. I've gotten sick once. Seaver's gotten sick twice in the last few weeks. I just feel like my immune system needs as much help as it can get. So, echinacea tea for me today. All right. So I think I'm just about finished for this week. I did want to give you a bit of a heads up about next week. I am going on vacation. I'm going to Washington, D.C. to visit my best friend, Caitlin. And I mentioned Caitlin before. She is a chemist and works in D.C. with the government. She's advising on environmental issues as an intern there, which is so cool. But I'm going to visit her and spend a few days out there. I'll be leaving on Friday and be gone all weekend and be gone Monday and Tuesday and coming back on Wednesday. So I won't be able to film on Monday. I'll probably take a bit of a break, a week off, and probably won't post another podcast for 2 weeks. But I'm really hoping to get some video footage of us out and about in DC and maybe some pictures, put a slideshow up so that you can see some of my adventures out there. I also wanted to give a bit of a warning that I might be breaking my yarn diet. I know. We are going to be going to some yarn shops, and I don't know if I can resist buying something when I'm on a trip, especially if it's something that I can't find anywhere else. So I won't break the yarn diet easily, I promise. It will take a very special, very nice thing for me to break my yarn diet. And if I do, I apologize to all those who are holding me accountable for this, but what can you do? So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be choosing my travel knitting projects. I have a couple of ideas, but I still need to think about them and think about how easily I can knit these on an airplane, how easily I can knit them on the go. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing lots of public transportation, so I might need something while we're on some buses or trains or something like that. But I don't know about DC. It's like a whole other country out there. But yeah, so I am just really looking forward to it, spending some good quality time with her, with Caitlin, and yeah, it's going to be a blast. So wish me luck, and I hope you all have a fantastic, wonderful, wonderful weekend. It just was the weekend. Wonderful week and weekend, because I won't see you for 2 weeks, and I'm stumbling over my words now, and you can tell this is the end of the podcast. But yeah, whatever you're knitting on, whatever you're crocheting on, enjoy it. Just take some time for yourself this week. I'm so looking forward to getting more of my knitting done after not having done much in the last few days. It's chilly here, so it's the perfect knitting weather outside. I just want to cuddle inside and sit on the couch and knit with my shawls on. By the way, this is my River Swell shawl from my pattern store on Ravelry. This is a free pattern, so if you wanna knit this, you should go check that out. And this is out of Noro sock yarn, so I thought I'd mention that while I'm still recording. But alright, so you guys have a great, fantastic week. I will hopefully post some videos from DC, and if not, then I will see you in 2 weeks. And that's kind of sad. I'm going to miss doing this. I so enjoy podcasting and talking to you guys. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the videos. And I will hopefully see you in our Ravelry group. Come join, come chat, introduce yourself. I want to hear all about your knitting life and adventures. And I can't wait to talk more to you guys. So thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.